Hi, welcome back to this live stream. And this is the Peru Sisters podcast. Gia should be joining me shortly, but she is working with a client right now. So if she has a chance when she finishes up, she's going to join us. But we have a ton of information to go over, so I'm just going to get right into it. So the first thing we're talking about today is this Mirror article I have pulled up. And let me just get this on full screen for you. I'm going to actually read this out loud to you. Now, a lot of people have dismissed this this article because they think it's tabloid fodder. They think that the publication that it was published in is known for telling salacious stories, but there are some very obvious reasons why we actually should pay attention to this article. And I'll get into all of it, but let's just go ahead and read what it says. It's pretty brief, so I'm just going to read this out aloud to you. So this article was written on April 25th of 2023, and it was after a now sealed subpoena was sent out for the surviving roommate, Bethany Funks, to appear before the court. The surviving roommate in the University of Idaho stabbings is begging not to appear at the suspect's hearing. Suspect 28 Bryan Kohberger, a former criminology student, has been charged with 4 counts of first-degree murder and burglary. He faces preliminary hearing this week. He faces a preliminary hearing this week, June 26, where prosecutors will begin presenting evidence with the accused yet to enter a plea, according to authorities. However, one of the surviving roommates, Miss Funk, allegedly heard or witnessed things which could potentially exonerate the suspect. Investigator Richard Bittanti, who is working for Ann Taylor, Mr. Kohberger's lawyer, has subpoenaed Miss Funk to appear at the accused killer's hearing on June 28th. According to the affidavit, she allegedly witnessed a naked man running through the rear sliding door. She lived on the first floor of the home and came face to face with the alleged killer. She is alleged to have heard and saw things which could clear the suspect, as Mr. Bittanti argued, will be crucial as a witness. Mr. Kohberger's lawyers claim that Ms. Funk has exculpatory information that is material and necessary to the alleged killer's defense. If she refuses to appear, she could face a potential of $500 or 25 days in jail. Mr. Bittanti wrote in the affidavit, during the course of my investigation, it became known to me that she has information material to the charges against Mr. Kohberger. According to the police, it is Mrs. Funk who found the bodies of her roommates, but she is now disputing the request to appear as she now lives in Nevada and Idaho. Not Idaho, pardon me. Her lawyer wrote, there is no authority for the Idaho criminal defendant to summon a Nevada witness to the Idaho matter, which the hearing there has no authority to summon a Nevada, I repeated my sentence, the Idaho matter, which a Nevada judge making findings of material necessity and the lack of undue hardship. Ms. Funk's legal team rejected the foreign subpoena, which was issued on April 11th, that they believe the judge must have a hearing before she can be forced to testify. Mr. Kohberger's defense has asked the court to make Mrs. Funk provide testimony, as they will try to challenge the probable cause used to justify his arrest. The suspect is currently being held in a maximum security cell in Latah County Jail in Moscow, Idaho, as he waits his preliminary hearing. So you might think, again, this is tabloid fodder, but I actually did a video on this. It's not as far-fetched as you think that this would be printed in a foreign paper. There's a gag order in the US, but I'm going to show you right here how, if the defense team wanted to, they could have had this article taken down. If this was misinformation or lies, they can prove it in a court in the UK and have it taken down. And we know this because we've seen the Markles do it. So we saw Harry do it with a case recently, and he won against a media outlet. And then Meghan actually, pull this up, Meghan actually did the same thing. She sued to have the paper takedown to fire Piers Morgan. Let me show you this. And exactly when the car started again and where it moved and what direction it went. Allegedly, of course, and in my non-professional opinion. So that's not the only fascinating thing I wanted to share with you today. So now let's talk about this article that was basically dismissed by most media outlets. And let's talk about why this might be true. So I was talking about the naked perp in my last video. I'll play a little clip here. And I was a little shocked at some of the comments. Either people didn't or hadn't heard this theory, or they had dismissed it as tabloid fodder. So let's just listen. What if the man clad in black came out the glass slider door, shed down his clothing, put it in his kill kit, like Steve quoted, the kill kit, and then ran naked around the house out the front? So I think that could be one person just covering his DNA tracks, which we know this was somebody who knew what they were doing as far as containing their DNA. So the article that I am referencing in this clip was written in The Mirror, which is a magazine that is published in the UK. And now I'm just going to read from you a few words from that article. Sorry for the redundancy, but I don't want to skip through. However, one of the surviving roommates, Mrs. Funk, allegedly heard and witnessed things that could exonerate the defendant. Investigator Richard Bitonti, who is working for Ann Taylor, Mr. Kohberger's lawyer, has subpoenaed Mrs. Funk to appear at the accused quote-unquote unaliver's hearing. To the affidavit, she allegedly witnessed a naked man run through the sliding glass door. She lived on the first floor of the home and came face to face with the alleged unaliver. She's alleged to have heard and witnessed things that could clear the suspect, Mr. Bitonti argued, and she would be a crucial witness. Mr. Kohberger's lawyer claimed that Mrs. Funk had some exculpatory information that is material and necessary to the alleged unaliver's defense. All right, this is where we start talking about the Markles. Mr. Bitonti wrote in the affidavit, during the course of the investigation, it became known to me that she has information that is material to the charges against Mr. Kohberger. And according to police, Mrs. Funk found the bodies of the housemates, but she is now disputing the request to appear, as she now lives in Nevada and not Idaho. So let's just make a couple of assumptions about this article. Now, number one, there's a gag order on this case that applies in the United States. This paper is printed in the UK. And unlike the United States, the UK doesn't have the same freedom of speech and freedom of press laws that the United States has. If Mr. Bitonti wanted to stop this article from being published or have it taken down, he certainly could, because he could say that he was offended by it and the paper would be required to respond to his formal request. Let me give you an example. So a recent example that has gained publicity is when Meghan Markle was offended by morning commentator Piers Morgan's opinion on one of his shows. Now, even though Meghan Markle was an American citizen at the time, she was still able to file a formal complaint in the UK. Let me just read you one quick paragraph here from People magazine that reported on this at the time. Meghan Markle made a formal complaint to ITV following Piers Morgan's on-air comments regarding her mental health, which she opened up about during her interview with Oprah Winfrey on Sunday, People reported. Now, I understand that there are a lot of things we have to take into account with this Mirror article regarding BF. However, we do need to consider that this just might be a loophole that the defense for BK has found to leak some information that could help the public image of their client. A major defense loophole. Major loophole that the defense team has found to get. Okay. This is going to get real good, you guys, I promise. All right, so next I watch these live streams because I follow this case along with studying what I'm going to do for my next video. My husband and I also follow this case, and we like to watch the live streams. I saw 2 fascinating live streams this week, and I'm going to start with Truth and Transparency because so I'm going to show you, let me set that up another way, excuse me. I'm going to show you 2 sound bites from 2 different live streams this week. One from Truth, and both of them sort of corroborate this Mirror article. both of their theories. I don't think they could simultaneously exist. So one of them is right or another, but I think you're going to find value in them. So let's start with truth and transparency. She had such a great, a lot of creators have touched base on her live stream from earlier this week. And so this is a 7-minute sample. I know that's kind of long, but it's worth it. She just does such a good job. And go.
And women, look at that, passing out some love. So giving some love back. Thank you, guys. So what this is a picture of is, guys, this is the day, this is November 12th, okay? This wasn't just posted on November 12th, and it was in Kaylee's feed that she added from a couple weeks ago. This is a post that was posted from actually the day that the picture was taken. This is allegedly Kaylee's bedroom. Now there's a couple things that bother me with this. Does this look like a bedroom that is moved out of? No. Same outfit that Dylan is wearing in the pictures for the tailgate. Same outfit that Kaylee is wearing in the pictures for the tailgate. This is what they were wearing, okay? This is the bedroom that is upstairs with the balcony, okay? This was posted on social media. That means anybody could have seen that. Guess who was in town? None other than Kaylee Gonsalves, who allegedly, if people are just chatty with one another, oh man, did you hear? Kaylee moved out. Big old fight broke out, you know. Oh my God, Kaylee's back in town. You know, where's the bed? I'm going to show you where the bed is. You can see the bed. Right there. Right there. That's the bed. Okay. Also take a look there. That is hardwood floor. Let me tell you something about hardwood floor, guys. Hardwood floor is creaky as.
That is, okay, so first off, I'm just going to pause this for a second. Hardwood floor, if truth and transparency, if you're watching this, hardwood floor should not be creaky. Darling, my husband's a general contractor. Give us a call. Just saying. Plus, those. I don't think this is hardwood floor. And I'm not trying to. Certainly, she's got so many amazing points, but I don't think this is hardwood floor. Because when we were watching that house get torn down, I heard a lot of people saying, oh, it looks like cardboard coming down. And saying it was a junky house. So I asked my husband, who's a general contractor, if it was, I'm like, is that a cheaply constructed house? And he kind of nodded yes. So I would imagine this isn't hardwood floor. It's probably Pergo or something, which, but anyway, I should let her go on. You guys want to hear what she has to say, I'm sure.
Very, very creaky. Creaky. So, that means you're listening to it. Go check out the jeans, the shirt underneath it. This is what Kaylee was wearing. But we have to talk about it because you guys, this is not a room. This is a room for a college girl that looks, talk about being needy or neat and tidy. This is a room that's neat and tidy. Okay. Or maybe like everything is just on the other side of the room and you can't see the mess. Okay. So, but this is the day, I like to say this is the day of the murders. Okay. This is it. This is what they both were wearing right before they left the house. Okay. Her and Dylan take a selfie. This is what her and Dylan were wearing in their famous picture underneath the stairs for when they were tailgating. You guys, this is a bedroom that has, would you leave all of this stuff in a house? Think about this. Would you leave all of this stuff in a house that you do not live in? To the point of, that your house is a revolving door, meaning people come into this house at all hours of the night, right? And you move out and you're going to leave all your valuables in this house. I would never, unless I had a freaking deadbolt on that door and locked it all crazy style. Now look at these blinds over here. Those are like blackout blinds, which means when you close them, like it stays super dark. All right. Again, that looks to me like where you hang necklaces and stuff back, like a jewelry box, but it's like a half open one. Again, the pictures are all up. This is, and then right here, this is the bed. This is the bed. Okay. I can tell you that I would not leave stuff in a home that it was a revolving door and people just came and went and go and came, going. That's the truth. This is the outfits they were wearing. Now, unless you're telling me that Kaylee was using this room because it was her old room, and the only person that, in my opinion, would have moved upstairs would have been Bethany. So when people say, why was Kaylee sleeping in Maddie's room?
I don't know why
Well,
this dream is
because Bethany moved into Kaylee's room after Kaylee moved out. Or is this truly Kaylee's room that hadn't been moved out yet? But again, you have to ask yourself, there is somebody that knows this answer, and I have no idea why nobody has asked this family this question. Are these Kaylee's things? And it's like, how would they even know? They've never been in the house. How would you know what Kaylee's bed, mattress, or comforter look like? Her parents have never been in this home. Have you ever seen Kaylee buy this? Is this something that she brought from home? You know, the little knickknacks. And the answer to all of that is, I just believe that you would go to Marshall's or Ross and buy those things. Okay. The family knows if this is Kaylee's stuff. The family knows if Kaylee had to get a U-Haul to haul her shit out of there. You know who else would know all this? The roommates, the surviving roommates, right? You know who else would know this? The neighbors. The neighbors would know if they saw a U-Haul moving Kaylee's shit out. All right. Now, remember who has the exculpatory evidence allegedly? Who has it? None other than allegedly Bethany Funk. Funky time. Maybe the reason that Kaylee was calling Jack D so many times is because Kaylee didn't have a bed. All right. But where did she sleep on Friday night if this wasn't her bed? Did she sleep in Maddie's room on Friday night? You know what I mean? What bedroom did Kaylee sleep in on Friday night? I'm curious of that. Maybe this is why she was calling Jack D so many times, is because hey, like, I want to come over there and sleep. Like, I don't have room to sleep here, blah, blah. Or maybe there was another fight. Who knows, right? But this is something that's very, very, what's the word I want to use? Very, very tidy, very, very clean. This doesn't seem like it's a room that even if you did move out, that you'd be moving stuff out as you were still like there then this weekend and grabbing things. This is a room that is so well put together, okay, that it's just very clean. It's very tidy. It's very in its place. This doesn't even look like a room that somebody was just crashing in because they were staying there for the weekend. You know, there'd be shit on the floor. I just feel like, or like, where's your bag of clothes that you brought? You know, this is all going to come out in trial. This is all going to come out in trial. But let's go back to what and who has the exculpatory evidence, allegedly. And allegedly, that would be none other than Bethany Funk. Why? Because wouldn't it make sense that anybody that could blow this narrative up would be someone like, oh, if Bethany was sleeping in this room and that's why Kaylee had in fact sleep in Maddie's room, is because Bethany had already moved up. I'm telling you guys, if I lived in this house, okay, why would I want to be on the bottom floor of this house? Why would I want that? Especially if I plan on living here for, let's say, the next year. Okay, because Bethany and Xana are younger. You know, Maddie might be moving out after, you know, this year comes to a close. But I want to move up so that nobody can take that bed.
All right, so that, I guess that's the end of that sample. Let me just pause this so it doesn't.
So
oh no,
let's think about this.
One more little point I just wanted to put out there. Had to fast forward.
Again, sorry about that. So let's think about this. Let's think about this. If I lived on the bottom floor, I don't know about you guys, if I lived on the bottom floor and before we have other people move in, because I would want, dude, you have the balcony. You're not going to want to hurry up, run all the way up there. Okay? You're not going to run all the way up there. Make sure that you claim this room because you want it for not only the rest of this year, but you want it for the next coming year. Right? Think about it, folks. All right. Now, the only thing that I thought would maybe matter to the person on the first floor is that if you were like a smart person, like myself, I would probably only stay on the bottom floor because of the washer dryer. I would not want to be going up and down with my laundry. So that's the only reason I would want the bottom floor. But honestly, at that age, I'm telling you, that's nowhere near going to trump me having the back balcony. I want that back balcony. I want to be laying out on that back balcony. I want everything to do with that rooftop back balcony. Like, hell yeah. I'm moving. As soon as she's out, I'm up there. Okay. Especially if she hasn't paid rent. You know what I mean? Like, I'm up there. Again, think of things as a 20 and 21-year-old. Don't think of things as a 40-year-old. Think of things as a 20 and 21-year-old. Dude, I'm going to get a couple of the frat guys to move my shit up there. So if it is true that Kaylee moved out, okay, as her parents say, then that would have been known throughout the house, and I would have been like, I want dibs on that bedroom, and we can either pull straws for them. We're going to do something, but my ass is going to be up in that. I'm not going to be a lone duck on the first floor of a revolving door house, which it was. And now when you think about the person that could blow all this up, well, there's exculpatory evidence because maybe the defense team found out that it was Bethany's bedroom. Okay. That it was Bethany's bedroom on the top floor. And so now what Bethany actually has to say is way more relevant because of the location of where Bethany would have allegedly stayed. Why don't you think they talk about Bethany in the PCA? Because maybe they would have to put where Bethany was truly located. Okay. Maybe since it was Bethany was, you know, in the mix of moving, don't know. Hold on, I want to put this down here to show you guys right here. This is a bed. All right. Now, when I was in college, when I had my house at home, I had my bed. I didn't take any of the stuff from my home in my bedroom in like high school. I did not take that up, pack that up, and take that down to college. All right. First of all, when you live in the dorm, they have a bed for you. And you just have to put, honestly, I think they even give you a mattress, which now that I think back about it, that's fucking sick.
And they do.
But yeah, so my to say that she would have had to move, like Kaylee would have had to move this bed out because she needed it at home. Absolutely not. No. Also, going back and looking at the Venmos again, what people do is they buy it from you.
Bingo.
They buy your stuff so that you don't have to move it all out. That's what Dylan did with the person that she bought out of this lease, which was, what's her name? Simpson, Ruby Simpson. But this is not a dorm. No shit, it's not a dorm. Thanks for telling us that. The point of the matter is that when you move into your dorm and into your other, if you moved into the house instead of the dorm because they were in sororities, they have beds. I've shown that clear as day. They have beds for you. So you're not bringing your bed in there. But we have to talk about the fact that the Gonsalveses have to explain when they want to say that Kaylee moved out. Well, what did Kaylee do? Leave all of her shit in this room, or is this not her stuff? It's one or the other.
Okay. I think that was one of the most powerful things I saw in all the live streams this weekend, Gia, and welcome to the show. We're so glad you were able to make it. Well, can you, we're definitely going to answer some of these questions in live chat, but first I just wanted to hear what your reaction was to Lana's
Well, first of all, I don't think that's the house. I don't think that's a bedroom in the house. I agree with Viv. I think that for a number of reasons, and I haven't seen the photo she mentions, but we would clearly could tell from the view out the window if it is or isn't. But also, I can't imagine their rooms would be even decorated that way. And it wasn't just the Gonsalves that said that she had moved out. She'd moved out, purchased a new car. She came back to visit. I heard recently, and this is just because this just came up, but I heard someone in law enforcement say that room was completely empty. And I think that's probably why the dog was in that room, because it was a puppy and it probably wasn't trained real well. And so I think that Kaylee didn't have anywhere to sleep except for with Maddie. And as a best friend, that's fun anyway, right? So she was in there, and they probably put the dog in the other room in case it had accidents overnight.
I think
Right. And also, like, look at those wood floors. Those are way too nice for that house. That house would not have floors that well done. Ask Joey, maybe. That would be something he could weigh in on.
Well, here's the first thing he said is he said if that's that same house, those are probably Pergo or something like that. They're not
That's
like
correct.
wide pine floors like that.
Yeah. No. And if you look at also like the way that the curtains are, they're put up very well. In dorms, that's not what you do. And especially because like her parents never saw. I could see if your father came and your mother and they wanted to put your room all together, that looks like a room in a home. And especially the way the pictures are on the wall and the mirror, and it doesn't look like any kind of college room to me. And particularly to the other point, she keeps saying Bethany. Well, if Bethany had moved up there, that's where Bethany would have been during the murders, and she wasn't. Right? So, and even if she wasn't, why would Kaylee and Dylan go into a bedroom that was neither of theirs to take a selfie? They wouldn't. So in my opinion, I think this is somewhere else. I don't know where, but.
I mean, I think everything that you're saying is kind of like the questions that I was watching Lana get in the chat, and some of the answers that I heard her giving. Okay, so while you were talking, I was trying to find it, and Viv even wrote this up here. I'm thinking it might be the view of her video dancing with Murphy. So there's this video of her dancing with Murphy. They're doing a TikTok dance to a country song, and this is the same room because somebody showed it. Whether now I don't know the girls' TikTok accounts well enough to know if that's like her bedroom, but it is the same room as that TikTok video dancing with Murphy when she's in her pajamas.
Yeah, maybe it's Maddie's bedroom.
That's a possibility too. This was getting ready for the tailgate that night. The one thing I will say is Evil CJ was agreeing with you along the same lines as you in his live stream, and he kept saying, and if we rewind this a little bit, you can see there's kind of like photographs up on the wall right there behind Dylan's head. Yeah. So he was like, well, if this was a Venmo sale, like if they just sold the room the same way Dylan did in her room downstairs, then why would there be photographs? But I'm looking at those, and those don't look like 5x8 photographs. They look like maybe a flyer, a promotion, a magazine, they don't look like photographs to me, so they could be more generic. I mean, it is possible this could be a room sale. From what I see, I think this might be Kaylee's room from the limited information that I know about it, but that's something we'll have to do some research on. Hold on.
Yeah,
It
I
says
would
she
like.
was,
Oh, go ahead.
no, go on. I was reading.
I would like to get. As this was going, I was like, we can probably verify this because I'd have to go back and look. Whatever video I was looking at was a forensic analyst, and he was saying that room was completely empty. That's how, when the police came in that day. That room had nothing in it at all. That's the
You know,
truth.
and I
you
think,
know?
yeah, and I think that the only thing we can typically go off is like what the PCA said. And I think a few people have gone back and looked at the PCA to say, did it distinctly say that one of the surviving roommates was on the first floor? And I think what they came to the conclusion is it doesn't actually say that. What's interesting is that if you look at the Mirror article, when I started this, I was reading kind of a tabloid article from the Mirror stating that it was basically what looks to be a leak from the defense to a foreign paper to get something out that could cause some reasonable doubt or confusion.
Mm.
And in this article, it says that Bethany was the one who found the bodies. So that if this were true, if what Lana's theory was true, that would make sense.
Yeah.
And then Murphy being in the room, well, if Bethany wasn't out tailgating and partying, could Bethany have been watching Murphy and have the dog? Just a couple things I'm tossing out, just to
Oh yeah, no.
thoughts on Lana's, just thoughts on what Lana has to say. And then what was the other thing? And then, so I don't know. The article said that she saw somebody from on top of the stairs. So it doesn't particularly match, but we're getting such broken information anyway. I don't know. But there's another interesting live stream I want to show you folks, which is from Evil CJ's. And what he was doing is he thinks he's found the camera that Steve's seen the leak footage from. And it's another 7-minute clip. Although his live stream and Lana's live stream probably couldn't simultaneously be true, it kind of backs up another thing that's said in this Mirror article. So let's just look at it and just get your honest reaction. Please comment below. Let us know what you think. If you can point out a video or a TikTok that we can verify is Kaylee's room, that she noted that it was her room in the TikTok, we'd love to see it. Just please comment below.
Right. And I was going to say, if you come across that picture where you say you can see outside the window and identify a building, we'd love to see that. And also the video, Kiki, if we can get that Dancing with Murphy, I know we have it probably somewhere.
Yeah, I'm looking all over. While we're playing that clip, folks, I'll find that video and we'll share that.
Let's take a look at it. That'd be interesting.
Yeah, take like a little deep dive. Let me just get this Evil CJ up. So please check out Evil CJ's channel. He I don't know how long he's been on YouTube, but he's got a great little channel going, and his live streams are long. One note, while we're talking about Evil CJ, if you go to his channel, he's done an incredible drive-through, better than anyone else I've seen. He went through this year on the 1-year anniversary, same time of night, and did a drive-through of the what is said on the PCA for BK's route. And it's powerful. And it's something that if you're interested in this case, it's going to give you kind of a street view of what it might have been like that night. So I just recommend you watching that Evil CJ. Here we go.
Guys, 11:26. How did I not see this before? Remember, you guys, 11:26, because this is part of a front door. It's an apartment. They got a door on the side and they got a door here. And I said, this has got to have a ring cam that goes straight to the sliding glass door. Watch. It does. And we're going to get more into it tonight. We are going to get way more. Why was the house a target and its access, exit points, and the driveway configuration for a vehicle to enter, exit, turn around, vantage points. That was a separate. And then it said says vantage points of other camera evidence. Vantage points of other camera evidence pointed towards the house. 1126 has fucking 1126. Steve G. Holy shit, guys. Steve G has to know that. Remember, you guys, I was like, 1126 has got, because people were thinking this was the front door back here, right? But they were going off the pictures from October 2007, because when you drop Google Guy down there, you're going off of photos from Google Guy of 2007. But when you're up here and you're looking at it, you can tell it's a completely different layout, obviously, from what it was before. Just with even the path, I showed you guys that a long time ago. And I'm like, this is a front door with this having a ring cam and this having a ring cam and this has got to have a ring cam. That would be the best freaking camera to have for the crime itself. I was sitting there talking about 1126 or 712. 712 doesn't have a camera. We already figured that out back in the summer. That means Steve G saw the video from 1126 that points to the sliding glass door. So then how would they say that they don't know how the person exited? Because they holy shit. I bet you this is what took place. And I'll get to your chats in a second. I'm sorry. My mind is just going, brrr, it's those tiles flipping. I bet you this is what took place, and this is the shit we've been saying this whole time. There is, watch this, peep this shit. 1112 picks up audio from a cat that activates the camera. You know why? Probably because the cat was over to start here to record. Or off. 12 picks up audio from a cat that activates the camera. You know why? Probably because the cat was over here and darted off through between the houses and took off because something was already going on. That's what activated the ring cam to start here to record.
Or knock
Right?
the garbage
I
over.
bet you.
What if it knocked
This
the
is what
garbage
happened.
over?
The person, because there's
What if the cat got spooked and knocked the garbage over at the sliding glass door, and then that's what activated the 1112 camera? That's what tipped the garbage can over at the sliding glass door.
There's no camera at 712, remember? There's no camera at 712. The blue car, or where the blue car's at, they creep down. 1126's camera caught. No, you guys saw that. You guys saw that garbage can, right? How much food and garbage and pizza boxes and all that was in there? There was food in that garbage, everybody. That cat, I bet that cat was digging in the damn trash and got spooked from somebody, whatever they're doing inside. And then that's the cat that took off between the two houses and activated the frickin' ring cam on 1112. I bet you that cat was getting into that garbage, got spooked, and then the garbage can tipped over. Or it tipped it over to try and get food out of it and got spooked. I guarantee you that cat was next to that garbage can. The person or persons entering the property.
I don't know why this is so foggy.
The reason
Yeah, you
that
can't really see it.
they don't know
I'm going to pause this.
how
What I'm going to do is I'm going to fast forward because he gets to his good point. If this picture was clear, it'd be a lot better for us to watch. But it's too hard. The point that he gets at is this would make sense This would make, well, let me just fast forward so we can say it in his own words. I don't want to speak for this gentleman.
In Ethan's window,
There we go.
hop down on that
There we
list
go, right here.
coming home. Or if they didn't live there, again, rewind back to here, exit Zaina and Ethan's window, hop down on that little small roof, jump down on the gravel, circle around through the tree area, circle through the tree area, and literally have a couple elevated steps to go back to right. That's why they never saw
My
how
screen
they
is frozen.
left
I'm
the
sorry, guys.
scene. They saw how they got in there, and I bet you Steve G saw that footage, saw how they got in there. They just don't know how they left because it couldn't possibly be caught on camera. If you're exiting Ethan and Zaina's window and you go right back around, and guess what, everybody? Where does this person walk by? When they do that, they walk by Bethany's room, do they not? Do they not walk by Bethany's room? If they exit Ethan and Zaina's window, hop down on the gravel from that small little roof, and go around the corner where the trees are at.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I said that before they picked up a thud, which is someone jumping off. There we go. Pointed towards the house. I've already proven last summer.
All right. We're going to stop there. Oops. And what I will do is when I do end up posting this back on our channel, I'll put a clearer picture of Evil CJ's live stream up. My stream is completely frozen, Gia. I can't.
Oh, I can. You're not frozen.
I can't even. Oh, here we go. It's letting me get to my control center. So I'm going to go to. I found that video of Kaylee.
Oh, good. Yeah, let's take a close look at that.
Yeah. Okay. Here we go. Share screen. I'm telling you, like, I'm kind of going blindly. My computer is totally frozen. I can't. It's not. Okay. Share screen. It must be the time of day. I don't know why our stream is frozen.
Yeah, it could just be internet difficulties on.
I live on Cape Cod. Yeah, and there's a huge weather pattern coming out here, not to make excuses, but when you live on
That's what I was just gonna say. I'm sorry.
No.
There's a delay. I'm not trying to cut you off. I'm so sorry. But yeah, I was gonna say there's some severe weather going up the 95, which is gonna affect all kinds of, you're gonna get the residual effects. Kiki probably went out and is coming back in to try to make it a little better. That's fine. Yeah, but anyways, I think it would be terrific to be able to play that video, and then we can really even, maybe she could pull up a side-by-side comparison of the photo we have with the video and just see if we can see if it's in the same room or not. That would be really neat to do right now, just to see, because it could be that it was Maddie's room, or another, maybe Bethany did move up there. I mean, we don't really know. But if she did, she certainly got it shipshape and in order really quickly. So, and also they were saying that those outfits they had on were from the day of the murders. So, could she have really gotten everything in gear and gotten back into the room that quickly? I mean, it only been a matter of days probably since Kaylee had moved out. So welcome back, Kiki. I was just trying to.
Thanks for holding down the fort.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Let me get this share screen. So let's look at Kaylee and see what is allegedly Kaylee's room. I mean, I can't say it actually is, but this is what people are saying is Kaylee's room. I can't turn up the volume.
No, that doesn't look like it at all. That's
It's
a kitchen.
coming up. No, yeah, no, it's this video. I just had to start there. It's a long video. I couldn't find an individual. Okay, so let's pause it. doesn't necessarily. There's
No.
a huge window right here. This isn't the same.
It doesn't. And if you look at the photographs, they're on a piece that comes out. That was flat on a wall. They didn't have the like, see how there's like an alcove beside. Can you do a split screen? I don't know. I'm not as techy.
I don't know how. I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah, that's okay. I was saying like that would be neat if you did, but I don't think that well,
I could pull up Lana's again. I have.
actually no, wait, go above her head. Can we
Let's
zoom in?
unpause it. It's a long video.
Okay.
Well, I
No,
guess.
look, it's the same mirror and little tree there. So I think it is just from a different angle.
Yep,
I
and
think
then
right-
right here, that's the same comforter bedspread, same pictures, but I see this
It's
kind of
just
like.
pushed this way a little where you can't see that alcove, I think.
I'm gonna pull it. Do you guys want me to pull up Lana's
Yeah.
video again? Hold on.
Yeah.
Let's see. It's not actually your video. I screen recorded it and uploaded it because I thought it would prevent any internet interruptions. All right, so truth and transparency. Okay. That's okay. It is the same room. I think.
Yeah, it is. It's the same room. Yep. I was looking on my phone to get it up. It's the same room. But the reason we can't see the alcove is because Dylan's head is right there, and so it almost looks like it's like another photo, but that is the alcove. And then you can see the little tree in the mirror above her head. Yep. That's the same room. So let's go back to the thing and look out the window
Okay.
and see if we can. But definitely it's the same room. Different day. You can't really see too much, but
allegedly this was at the house, so
Yeah.
this would be Kaylee's room. So it does bring up a incredibly interesting question. If she was moved out, why was her stuff there? The only logical thing I could think is if she sold her stuff to another person. What are your thoughts?
well,
Hit me,
either
Keith.
that or look, when I was in college, I thought I looked good in a few outfits and I wore them all the time. So that's just because they're wearing what they ended up wearing that looked similar to that day on the porch doesn't mean it was November 12th. That photo could have been from any other time. Because if she did move out, it would make sense she would have taken a few things down, right? And even if she sold it all to Bethany and whatever, Venmo sale, whatever you're calling it, I do think those photos, because when you're in college, they look like one was of a dog. They look like her personal photos. You're not going to leave that behind, right? So, what would be interesting is if we could see further over and see if that jewelry chest was still there, because you're also not going to sell your jewelry.
Let's play it. Let's just see if it. I don't think the
Well, it
camera
might.
moved, but let's just play it through.
Okay.
Oh, that's it. Well, there might be other things of Kaylee's room in this video. This is all Kaylee's TikToks. Some of them this creator had to take down because of copyright, but I'm just scanning ahead to see if I can find anything else in Kaylee's room. Well, that was Kaylee.
Yeah, it would be good if we could save that in case it ever does all get taken down, because these are good things to look back and say, maybe not for what's going on, but what's in the background.
I will. I'll do a screenshot of this, of
Yeah.
Kaylee's TikToks for you guys to make sure we have this filed away.
Just because, like, as you've taught me too, it could be there 1 second and gone the next, and then it's poof.
What's shocking is the court documents that are gone there 1 second and then gone. Like, how does that happen in this case? I don't know.
It shouldn't. Well, unless it gets sealed, but.
So, well, yeah, that's true. So, well, also the other thing is we noticed kind of like from the first live stream when we presented one document, it was different than Christina's. That's a strange thing too. People keep saying to me, and I don't know you know, I just take the information. I don't know what's real, what's a mistake or not, but people say they'll download something from the court documents, and what's downloaded is different than what they're looking on the screen. So I don't know. Just throwing it out there,
That's
reporting on the
interesting.
channel here. I
That's
did
very-
have a thought on some of these things that possibly, particularly when it comes to that Mirror article, could it be people just trying? I mean, everything is basically propaganda. Anything put in the media, we feel is like, even when we were covering the Kardashians and Britney Spears, it was just very obvious we were constantly being manipulated by what's put into the press. I wonder, is this the loophole that the defense has found to get some reasonable doubt out there? Start making holes in people's stories. So Christina Randall had brought up the Jose Baez
Yes.
technique. And I thought maybe we'd play you that clip, you folks, and you can see she covers a lot of true crime, and at this point you can consider her an expert at covering these cases. So I think it's valid to listen to what she has to say.
I agree. And thank you, Miss Smith, for the tip on
Yeah, I
the
forgot to say
screen.
yeah, I'll be screenshotting that. Thank you, Mrs. Smith. Miss Smith. All right, Brian. Let's see. Christina Randall. Here we go.
Underneath a victim, and you happen to turn your phone off for 2 hours that night, and you just happen to have been at that house at 9 o'clock the next morning after the slayings, your phone pings there right in front of their house. What are the odds of all of these things, right? I mean, I don't know. Seems a little strange. What are the odds that one of the roommates saw somebody wearing a black hoodie with gloves and a mask on, and then when they raid your parents' house, they find lots of black hoodies? I mean, I don't know. It seems like a bunch of coinky dinks here. And your alibi is that you like to take long rides in the middle of the night with your cell phone turned off, I guess.
In the right place.
And your DNA is found. Anyways, during the hearing, the defense and the prosecution went back and forth quite a bit, kind of in a professional way, accused each other of lying is the way that I understood it. Like, the defense was like, oh, the prosecution knew that we were going to have this witness testifying. And the prosecution's like, no, we just found this out this morning. Or, you know, so they were going back and forth. What I will say, though, is that if prosecution, Mr. Bill Thompson, who I think is adorable, but if he's going to go to trial against Ann Taylor, he sure enough better be drinking his protein and doing his pull-ups, because Ann Taylor, she's a force to be reckoned with. Okay. And Mr. Prosecutor, Mr. Bill Thompson, he's going to have to step it up a bit, is what it seems like. He's going to have to get it together, because Ann Taylor, she's like a dragon. She is ready. And her client is ready. I mean, if you look at him in there, he looks like he's one of the attorneys too, and he is not sweating at all, which also makes me think, what the heck? Who could be in his position and be that cool, calm, and collected?
That's what I said.
I don't know. Defense also wanted to change the date of the trial, and the judge said no. The judge said yesterday, as far as I'm concerned right now, the trial is happening on October 2nd. He said, I've already cleared my schedule. Y'all, that is like a month and a half away. I would be shocked if they went to trial on October 2nd, but I'm kind of hoping that they do. And speaking of that, Bryan Kohberger's family was allegedly there at court, and I would have to guess, okay, that Ann Taylor spoke to them and said, it looks really bad for Bryan not to have any support here. You guys got to come to court. You got to be here. You got to find a way to make it work, because to the public, it looks like he's a person that has no support. That's just my thoughts. I could be wrong. But some of the victims' families were there, and y'all already know Kaylee's family was there. They're not playing, and I don't blame them. I'd be sitting right next to them the whole time too. And it is said that one of Kaylee's family members wore a T-shirt that is in support of the firing squad.
Okay, I have to go back a little bit because I skipped over it, and I'm sorry about that.
I was like,
I know. I'm sorry. I wasn't trying to get off subject, you guys. I do apologize for those. Thank you for bearing with us. Let's listen to.
They're going to use the fact that that DNA on the knife sheath matches Bryan Kohberger's DNA. When they swabbed him, it was basically a perfect match. But I get what Ann Taylor and them are trying to do. They're trying to find any tiny little loophole because that DNA is the biggest part of this case. And that makes me uncomfortable, y'all. And this is just me talking to y'all like if we was sitting on my back porch, okay? It gives me Jose Baez vibes. Y'all remember that watched the Casey Anthony trial. He pulled out every stunt in the book. You never knew the next person that was coming to testify, what was going to come out of his mouth. When Jose Baez got up there to do his opening statements,
you're going to hear all kinds of bizarre family behavior that just doesn't make sense.
To defend Casey Anthony, he spewed out all kinds of stuff that he never even talked about in the trial. Never did. He said any old thing. It was a circus. It was a full-on circus. And by the end of Casey Anthony's trial, the doggone juries were so confused. They were like, we don't know what to think. We cannot find her guilty because they had so much confusing information. And I almost feel like we're already headed down that path with these antics that it seems like the defense is pulling. And I get it. Bryan Kohberger deserves a fair trial. Also, Bryan Kohberger, you guys remember how he had like a certain amount of time to come up with his alibi, and they were kind of dangling this alibi over the prosecution's head, like, we'll give you the alibi if you'll tell us this, Well, guess who his alibi was for the night of the crime, which, mind you guys, Bryan Kohberger's phone pinged over there by the house 12 times like he had been stalking them, including right before the crime and after the crime, and his phone just happened to turn off or go onto airplane mode for 2 hours.
All right, we're going to start there. I think she's got a legitimate point, and I will be honest, I dismissed it at first when I first heard her say this, because this video is quite old. When she said that Jose Baez, she's getting Jose Baez vibes. I'm getting them too. And particularly when I went back and I looked at what Jose Baez did back in Casey Anthony's case. And I mean, Jose Baez, if you look at him as an attorney, like I tried to see, okay, what's his defense strategy when it comes to confusion? You'll see if you try to do a little bit of searching on Jose Baez on YouTube, you're not going to find a lot of defamatory things against him. It's very clear that he takes care of privacy. There's nothing, we'll just say, it's clear there's nothing bad said about him on YouTube. So I will watch what I say too. Even on Wikipedia. And I don't put much, I used to love Wikipedia. I don't put a lot of, positive spins on Wikipedia lately. But even when you go to Wikipedia, there's always a section under people where you can look at their controversies. Jose Baez doesn't have that section. He fights against people saying bad things about him. And the one thing I will say about him is we're talking about a man who he wasn't allowed to pass the bar for like from 1997 to like 2004 because he owed back child support. And it's a pretty cruel thing to do, to not allow someone to make a living. And they also can't pay their child support. My point is this, is he had his reputation dragged through the mud, and it feels like he's lost the ability to like care. Like he has no shame, and he drugged Casey Anthony's parents. He said really cruel things to her mother, to her father. Like he had no feelings or heart. Like, and I think hurt people. And so what I'm getting at is his defense strategy that he came up with was pretty brutal, and it looks like it's a winning strategy, and a lot of people copy it. So I'm sorry to, I might edit a little bit of that out, but that's my thoughts on the matter.
So I have a little bit different of a perspective, right? He did his job. Simple as that. He did his job. And his job was, when you go through these things, you take all emotion out of it. And he might have even apologized to her parents ahead of time, say, look, I'm going to do what I have to do. What is our goal? Our goal is to get Casey Anthony off. So the means to the goal isn't as important, and you can't take it all as like he was really doing that or he was blah, blah, blah. And just to side note, in child support cases, they do remove your professional licenses. They don't allow you to obtain professional licenses if you are in arrears. They can take away your driver's license. They can take away a license you already have. They can strip you of everything. So that's probably what that is all about. But I don't think that has anything to do necessarily with the way he's a defense attorney. I think he and that's what you do. You have to, everything you have to do is to introduce doubt. What's doubt? And so going back a little, when Christina says the DNA is the biggest thing, and it's, however many octillion, whatever that number is, the 13 zeros. I actually think the DNA is the easiest piece for them to overcome, because it can be explained away in so many different ways. So if I'm a juror and I learn about touch DNA, then I'm going to say there's an absolute possibility that sheath has his DNA on it because it was transferred from somewhere else. So that puts doubt in my mind, because there's now another theory. It doesn't have to be proven to be true. It just has to be introduced that there's another possible theory to why that DNA is there. And as a juror, if there's another possible theory, I'm not going to send a man in front of the firing squad if that's all there is. My guess is that when trial comes out, there's a lot more DNA evidence. I don't think that's all the DNA evidence they have. And then that's going to really solidify, the prosecution's argument. That's my guess.
Yeah, I like what you're saying about Jose Baez, though. I mean, he is doing his job, and he got her off. And not to say that she got off. She was found not guilty by
I know
a jury of her peers. But
That's
we know
true.
in that case, the police, they went for a charge that they didn't necessarily.
She got off on technicalities.
Yeah.
She didn't get off because she was innocent, in my opinion. I'm just telling you that. And same with OJ. So, it just, I don't know. That's my opinion, and it doesn't mean anything. It's completely speculative and whatever else you want to call it. But
No, I love your opinion, especially because Gia does have a little background in working with the courts and in legal proceedings. So I don't know what I should share about your background or not.
you can share whatever. It doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, but Gia has a lot of experience working in the court system.
One
She
second.
does. Yeah,
I just have to plug something in. Hold on. As usual. Keep talking.
Okay, so I'll just and Gia, you can come back and correct me if I say anything wrong, but Gia does work with people in mediation that are going through the process. She's really familiar with courts. She also has experience as a paralegal, although she doesn't need that. She does other things that have to do with the court systems. She doesn't use her paralegal for, but she's a great tool for our podcast because she's seen a lot of things. And so you want to add a little bit more on why I keep tossing these legal questions to you?
No, and I'm not an attorney, right? But I have, like other people say, who have background, like Jules of All Trades. She comments on her background, educational background. I have educational background I am a paralegal, and I did go through. I'm a mediator for court cases and for people going through divorce most often. But I do understand, I went through years of law school that allowed me to become a paralegal. So I understand how to look at documents, and I understand how the way that they're phrased. Sometimes it doesn't always make sense when you're reading it, right? But so sometimes I can help to take apart those kind of things. And I just maybe see things from slightly different perspective.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
And it's really important. We appreciate your perspective. I think I've probably kept you and everyone else long enough. We really would love to hear your comments below. I know we're connecting different cases, but that's where we're at in this case now. This is going to trial. We're going to be seeing this summer likely, and we need to start talking about the case. We need to start talking about legal strategies. We need to talk about sentencing. We need to talk about we need to talk about what's going to be done in place of the house, the Oculus. We need to learn how those models are done. So there's a lot for us to cover. We're moving from a lot of different speculation to okay, what do they have for evidence? And let's break down this case. So.
Right. And we have a lot of ideas for this weekend that we want to talk about. And probably you and I would keep talking about it now, but we don't need to keep everyone on, right? Because we find it so interesting. And I think a lot of what we're doing now, too, is we're sort of going back and we're looking at things and saying, well, why did they do this? What was this strategy for the defense or the prosecution, and just kind of trying to pick things apart and really look at it, because as everybody knows, we're at a point right now where this is all speculation. Too much is sealed. There's too many I don't knows and too many what ifs. But I think it's all great food for thought, and there's nothing wrong with dissecting it and talking about it. And I think it's going to, for all of us that are on here and listening, when we get to watch the trial, and hopefully it'll be broadcast live and we'll bring it to you. But we're going to have a lot of like aha moments and, oh, wow. And we had talked about that, and now we know. And so I think it's going to create a lot of interesting commentary as the trial goes on, because this trial is going to go on for probably months, I think.
Really? You think, okay, I was thinking 6 weeks just because I was going off things like the Casey Anthony trial or the Jodi Arias.
Yeah, could maybe, but it could go potentially. It has the potential to go for a long time. How long was the OJ case? That's
God, I can't remember.
I don't remember either. But I mean, it felt like a long time. It might not have been as long as I'm thinking, but these things just have a way of taking on a life of their own. And to the point someone made, I don't know if it was when I was watching with you or earlier, is that this is a murder case. It's a typical murder case. It's become sensationalized, right? But as far as the rules and the procedures for court and all that, it's just a regular murder case. And I think they made that point in the first, I'm sorry. That was a video I was watching earlier today. You broadcast it with the lawyer, I really like him, and he had a nice video at the end of the year, and it was him and his father, who is also an attorney. And so they were sort of spitballing different things about the case and the potential for appeal. And so I think we'll talk about that this weekend.
Absolutely. And I don't even want you to give any more away from it. And I actually saw the same, because I love that channel. I actually seen him and his father before, and I know what points we're going to cover. So we'll keep our mouths shut.
Yeah.
Another
Okay.
I'm sorry. What?
Jason just said OJ was 9 months. Thank you. I didn't have a memory lapse. I did think that went on and on and on. So
yeah.
But he was a celebrity, so that may be a little bit different, because Bryan's not a celebrity, but he's becoming one because of all the speculation. So
without a doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
And then aside from the live stream we have, where we're going to talk a little bit about the case, I know we mentioned it in our last live stream, we do have a really special live stream we're trying to put together. Stay tuned. I had announced in our last live stream that we were going to have something special and unique in this one. We're still working on that, though. Sorry to be so ambiguous. I just want to make sure I'm being clear, because obviously there's people who come and
right. And can I just respond to one thing Miss Smith just said?
Yeah, I'll pull it back up.
Okay. For sure, we'll see what happens when the discovery deadlines are scheduled and whatnot. Defense can't be ambushed at the last minute, which is Bill's big fear. Absolutely correct. So when you're watching TV and dun dun dun, this last minute witness comes, or this piece of evidence gets pulled out of a hat, and boom, the case. No, that doesn't happen. You can't do that. That's against the rules and procedures. You can't have a surprise witness. You can't have anything that you haven't already disclosed to the other side. So there's no such thing as a last minute surprise in a trial. Miss Smith's right. Yeah. Everything that the prosecution has, the defense has to know about well before getting to trial, or it's not admissible.
So what would happen, just hypothetically, let's say a witness came forward with some relevant information that they didn't know before. Would they have to hold a hearing separately from the court to find out if they could admit it, or how does that work if something comes up after the fact?
So I don't know if it's necessarily a hearing, but with discovery is ongoing all the way up through the trial. It's always ongoing. So if someone came forward, they would have to disclose that to the other side. The other side might try to suppress the witness, and then they might do a motion to the judge to ask, can we push this forward? And then a judge would rule based on what it was. But it can't be, you can't hold a witness in the back pocket and say, ha ha, right? Gotcha. It doesn't work like that. But if you come across new evidence, always, but you do have to disclose it first to the other side. You can't do it like in front of the jury and surprise the other side. Yeah.
It's just nice to hear these things. So what it does is it solidifies for people who aren't in the legal system to know that the process is fair. That's basically what the layman wants to know.
It's the best legal system that we have, and it's not perfect by any means, but it's what we have, and it's a lot better than some of those other systems in other countries. So
you had a profound quote in one of the last videos you did where you said that, you know, the legal system is one of the best in the world, but it's only as good as the people who are running it, or something along those lines. So when I say, you know, knowing the system is fair, again, we're just saying it's only as fair as the people running it. But just like Gia said, it's the fairest system in this world. We don't really know of a better one.
Right. Trust me, I would rather be on trial in the United States than anywhere else. And like just talking about when you look back at, remember that girl in Italy that was over there and got accused of murder, and that was just a nightmare. I mean, what she had to go through.
Or Amanda Knox, that's what it was.
Yes, yeah. So not to digress, but I'm just saying it's like even in Italy, which you think is, you know, it's not like a third world country or anything like that. It's still you don't want to be there as opposed to here. And, you know, so we'll see what happens.
I just thought of something, you know, I'm not trying to, again, hold things up. I just thought of another point when you said that. My husband and I have, we're friends with my husband does business with some clients that came and stayed at our old house, and we had a country house in New Hampshire, and they came to stay with us, a husband and wife that were from Brazil. And we were sitting and watching Netflix, and it was kind of like a murder mystery show. And I remember turning to them and I said, well, they should go ask the neighbor if they heard anything. And then, you know, my husband says, oh, well, they should have asked the person upstairs. And it was based on a true story. And I go, do you know if they ever talked to the people in the building? And both of them tried to kind of emphasize to us the nuance that you can't do that in Brazil. Unless you are implicated in the case, you can't go just randomly questioning someone. You could hurt their reputation. So just remember that in this, you know, in this country, when we have freedom of speech and freedom of press, it's not the same way in other places. You might hurt someone's feelings in other countries. And, you know, so just want to, you know, point out the little bit that I know about it too. So.
Right. I mean, it's the same thing, just to circle back to your point with the whole Meghan Markle Pierce thing, that all she had to do, and she was a U.S. citizen, but all she had to do was make the claim that he was offending her, and he got fired, right? If over here, you're not going to get fired for offending someone. It's kind of the way of the world. It's like, because we have freedom of speech and we're allowed to say these things as long as they're true and not defamatory.
Yeah.
You know,
and even as a public figure, you actually are kind of allowed to say things that aren't true. So, and then depending on the extent of damage, you know.
Yeah, you could speculate, hypothesize. You can't make an accusation about a celebrity that's not true, because they most of the time they're not going to care, but when they care, right? Like Oprah, and you know, if someone's going to come back after you, you're probably not going to win if you said something that was untrue. In a case here, right? So
but
if it's the truth, oh well. And here we think if you're a public figure, you're putting yourself out there for these kind of commentary and whatnot.
You know, Viva, yes, she probably has a little more pull because of her status, for sure. But I will say, it wasn't just that incident with Piers Morgan. She actually tried to get other things taken down about her, which she was denied. But Harry Markle, he actually just recently got out. I know, right? Yeah, he just recently got out of court, and he did have defamatory things taken down in Britain, because in Britain it is not the same freedom of speech laws. Right. If you can, yeah. So I'm not going to speak on it because I'm not an expert, but it's obvious when Harry Markle and Meghan Markle can go over the seas and have people take unsavory stories down. But all you have to do is type into YouTube here, and you can see they can do the same thing here in the US. They can't control that narrative. So, all right. Anyway, sorry to take you guys so long, but we love you guys. We appreciate your support. Thank you for showing up, and please leave your comments below. We can't wait to see you this weekend. I'll post the live stream as soon as we decide on what time. So Thank you for
Okay.
joining us today and have a great day.